Good day, Africa. Good day across the globe. You won't believe this. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has just done the unthinkable again. Yeah, you heard me right. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has just pulled off transport revolution in Burkina Faso. It's bold, fast, and reliable, faster than the plane. Already shaken every major city in the country overnight, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has just partnered with China to build an electric train across the country that is faster than the plane in a deal worth over $50 billion. Have you heard the whistle? The sound is not just a train, it is the sound of history changing course. From the red soil of Burkina Faso, a project has emerged that is shaking the very foundations of U.S. influence in Africa. A $50 billion machine, built in partnership with China, racing faster than a plane, carrying not just passengers but the destiny of an entire continent. For decades, Africa's roads, rails, and skies were controlled by outsiders. The U.S. and its allies built a system designed to keep us dependent. Want to trade with your neighbor? You had to go through Paris first. Want to fly to another African capital? Stop in Europe? Want to export goods? Pay a fees to Western middlemen. They built bottlenecks so they could own the flow of Africa's wealth. But today, Burkina Faso has detonated a bomb under that system. By announcing the world's most advanced high-speed train, faster than planes, Africa has declared, "We no longer need your permission to move." This train isn't just transport, it's defiance. It's a steel-forged revolution running across the land, tearing down the walls the empire built around us. Think of the symbolism. The same nation where Thomas Sankara once demanded self-reliance, where the spirit of defiance was never extinguished, is now leading Africa into a future the West swore was impossible. Burkina Faso is saying to the U.S., "You told us we could not dream. You told us we could not build. And yet here we stand, building something faster, stronger, and freer than you ever imagined." And Washington is panicking. Generals are holding secret briefings. Senators are calling emergency meetings. Media outlets are screaming China's grip on Africa. But the truth is simple. It's not China they fear. It's Africa's freedom. It's the end of their monopoly. It's the sound of a whistle they cannot silence. This is more than steel and speed. This is a weapon of sovereignty. Every station built is a fortress of independence. Every track laid down is a chain broken. Every whistle that blows is a declaration that Africa has chosen its own path. And for the United States, that means one thing: the empire's time is over. So listen closely. The whistle is blowing, the train is moving, and Africa is no longer waiting. The $50 billion project is not just an achievement, it is the beginning of a continental revolution. And when the train leaves the station, it carries with it the one thing the West feared the most: an Africa that moves faster than planes, faster than lies, faster than empire itself. Brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of Africa, people of the global South who have long been treated as passengers on a ship steered by foreign captains, today we stand at the dawn of something so powerful, so unexpected, that it has not only shaken the old order but is already rewriting the map of global power. Today, I speak of a vision born from the red soil of Burkina Faso, a vision built with the steel of Chinese engineering, a vision fueled by the determination of Africa to rise and claim its destiny. The 50 billion train, a machine faster than the plane, stretching across our continent like the veins of a new heart pumping life into Africa's future. Imagine this. For decades, Africa was told that progress would only arrive by flying through European capitals. Goods, services, ideas, even the movement of our own people had to pass through Paris, London, or Washington before reaching each other. Our skies were controlled, our ports were controlled, even the air routes we traveled on were dictated by others. And yet today, Burkina Faso, a nation once dismissed as too small, too poor, too dependent, has stunned the world with the announcement of a high-speed rail system so fast it outpaces even passenger jets. A $50 billion project funded and engineered in partnership with China, connecting the heart of West Africa to the wider continent, linking villages, to cities, farmers, to markets, students, to universities, and Africa to Africa without a single checkpoint from the West. This train is not just steel on tracks, it is a declaration, a revolution, a roar of defiance against an empire that thought Africa would forever remain on its knees. For the first time in history, Africa will have a transportation system that is not second-hand, not outdated, not donated from Europe's scrapyards, but something that rivals and even surpasses the very best in the world: faster than a plane, cleaner than a car, stronger than the walls of colonial exploitation. It is a miracle born of courage, planning, and vision. And make no mistake, the United States of America is furious. Why? Because this single train threatens everything they built their influence on. For the U.S., Africa was never about friendship, never about partnership. It was about control. Control of our resources, control of our trade routes, control of our movement. But now, with this one project, Burkina Faso has cracked the spine of empire. The monopoly is over. Let me take you back for a moment. For decades, Washington manipulated Africa's transport and energy systems. They made loans through the World Bank and IMF, but those loans came with chains policies that forced African nations to privatize their railways, their airports, their shipping lines. They said it was modernization, but it was enslavement. Infrastructure built under colonialism was left to rot because the West never wanted Africans to connect with each other. They wanted us to depend on them for everything. That was their system of dominance. But now picture this. A train that travels across Burkina Faso, reaching into Mali, Niger, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and beyond. A train that allows goods from Ouagadougou to reach Lagos, Accra, or Dakar in hours rather than days. A train that allows African families to move freely, cheaply, quickly across borders without begging for visas. Stamped by Western embassies. This is not just transport, this is liberation, and that liberation terrifies the United States. Because the $50 billion train is more than just tracks and wheels, it is a weapon of sovereignty. Each station built is a fortress of independence. Each route laid down is a chain broken. Each ticket sold is another nail in the coffin of Western dominance. Washington knows it. Their analysts are sounding alarms. Their newspapers scream about China's growing grip on Africa. Their generals whisper about geopolitical threats. Their corporations panic because they know their monopoly on African logistics is finished. And behind their closed doors, they rage because a country they once dismissed as irrelevant has become the stage where history is being rewritten. Let us pause and reflect on this symbolism. Burkina Faso, land of revolutionaries, the home of Thomas Sankara, the soil where seeds of defiance have always been planted, is once again showing the world what it means to be free. This is no coincidence. This is destiny. It is the spirit of Sankara resurrected in steel, roaring down tracks that cut through the lies of the empire. The same Sankara who told us to produce what we consume, who told us to rely on ourselves, who told us to break free from the chains of dependency. Today, his dream thunders down the rails of this train faster than a plane, louder than the voices of Washington. Brothers and sisters, the people of Burkina Faso are not just building a railway, they are building a future that belongs to us all. And this future has terrified the US more than any military base closure, more than any coup that threw out their puppets, more than any speech at the United Nations. Because this train is proof that Africa no longer needs them. Proof that we can leapfrog the old system. Proof that Africa can work with new partners, on new terms, to achieve new destinies. Make no mistake, the Americans will not sit quietly. They will try to sabotage. They will try to bribe officials to delay construction. They will spread propaganda about debt traps. They will accuse China of neocolonialism while hiding the fact that they have plundered us for centuries. They will use their media to paint Burkina Faso as reckless, as foolish, as selling out. But the truth is simple. The only ones panicking are those who can no longer control us. And why is this train faster than planes so symbolic? Because for decades, planes represented the privilege of the elite. Planes were for those with money, with visas, with approval. The poor farmer, the young student, the struggling trader, these were people who could never afford or access the speed of the skies. But with this train, the people rise. With this train, the markets open. With this train, the students travel. With this train, every African becomes a part of the modern world, not begging, not waiting, not excluded. This is why the empire shakes, because they know the power of movement. They know that controlling how people move is controlling how people think, how people dream, how people connect. And now, for the first time, Africa will move on its own terms. Imagine the next decade. Burkina Faso's train becomes the seed. Mali extends it. Niger connects to it. Ghana and Nigeria join. Before long, we have an African network of high-speed rail linking every capital, every port, every market. Imagine an African Union not just in words, but in steel and speed. Imagine goods flowing without Western middlemen. Imagine Africans meeting Africans directly, trading, learning, building without needing to stop in Europe first. The US sees this vision too. That is why they fear it. That is why they rage. That is why their think tanks produce endless reports about China's threat. But let us speak the truth. It is not China's threat they fear. It is Africa's freedom. It is Africa's connection. It is Africa's refusal to play the old game. Burkina Faso has lit the fire. The $50 billion train is the torch. And as it blazes across the continent, it will burn away the lies of the empire, the myths of dependency, the chains of colonial economics. And so I tell you, my brothers and sisters, what we are witnessing is not just a train, it is a revolution on wheels. A revolution faster than a plane. A revolution stronger than the empire. A revolution that proves once again that Africa is not asleep, it is awake, it is alive, and it is unstoppable. The first whistle of this $50 billion train has already echoed beyond Burkina Faso's borders. The steel tracks are not just cutting across the soil, they are cutting into the very heart of Western dominance. And as construction surges forward, the consequences are unfolding in real time. In Washington, in Brussels, in Paris, the conversations are no longer about whether Africa is important, they are about how fast they are losing it. The Burkina Faso China train project has ripped the mask off their illusions. For decades, they claimed to be Africa's partners. They said their aid programs were about development. They claimed their investments were about partnership. But in reality, they built systems to keep Africa divided, weak, and dependent. And now, a train faster than a plane has undone what their entire empire spent centuries constructing. Think about it. In one bold project, Africa has signaled that it no longer needs Western-designed infrastructure, no longer needs their banks to approve financing, no longer needs their experts to dictate policies. Burkina Faso showed that Africa can dream big, Africa can plan big, Africa can build big, and Africa can win. The US is in fury because it knows this train is not just for Burkina Faso. It is a prototype for a new Africa. It is a roadmap that other nations will copy. If Burkina Faso can do it, so can Nigeria, so can Kenya, so can Ethiopia, so can South Africa. And once these connections spread, the monopoly of Western airlines, ports, and financial corridors collapses overnight. Let us understand this carefully. For America, Africa was never about friendship. It was about two things: resources and control. Uranium from Niger, cobalt from Congo, oil from Nigeria, cocoa from Ghana, gold from Mali. All of it was extracted, shipped, and profited from through Western-designed systems. Even the transport routes were structured to keep Africa dependent. You could not even fly directly from most African capitals to each other without stopping in Europe first. That was deliberate. That was control. But imagine the impact of this new train. Imagine farmers in Burkina Faso sending produce directly to Nigerian markets without passing through Western ports. Imagine students attending universities in Ghana without waiting months for visas. Imagine a Malian entrepreneur traveling in hours to Ouagadougou for trade fairs. Imagine African goods moving seamlessly across the region, building African wealth without Western intermediaries. This is what the empire fears. This is why they rage. Let us not be naive. The US response will be brutal. They will not simply watch their grip crumble. They will push disinformation campaigns, screaming debt trap. Even as their own IMF programs destroyed African economies, they will whisper into the ears of corrupt politicians, offering bribes to sabotage construction. They will try to stir division between African nations, warning one against the other, and they will attempt to use their military footprint, their AFRICOM bases scattered across the continent, to intimidate governments into backing down. But Burkina Faso has already set the tone under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim. The nation has shown it will not bow. It has expelled French troops. It has reclaimed its resources, and now it has chosen to build Africa's future on African terms. This defiance is contagious. Every African nation watching sees the blueprint. If Burkina Faso can stand tall, why not us? The US thought it could bully Africa forever with its dollars and threats, but dollars are no longer enough. Africa has alternatives now. China, Russia, India, Turkey, Brazil, they are lining up to work with us without demanding humiliation in return. And when alternatives exist, the empire's power evaporates. This train is the clearest evidence of that evaporation. Let me speak plainly. The train is not just about speed. It is about sovereignty. Planes may be fast, but they require Western approval. They rely on Western airspace, Western visas, Western airlines. But the train belongs to us. Its tracks run through our land. Its power is fueled by our cooperation. No Western checkpoint can stop it once it starts moving, and that is why they fear it, because they cannot control what belongs entirely to us. Think of the symbolic reversal. For decades, Africa exported raw materials on trains built by colonial powers. Those trains were designed to carry resources from mines to ports and then straight into the ships of Europe. Africans were passengers only by accident. The true cargo was our stolen wealth. Today, that story is reversed. This $50 billion train is not carrying our resources out, it is carrying our people forward. It is carrying our goods to African markets. It is carrying our dreams across the continent. It is not built to feed empire, it is built to feed Africa. And what does this mean for the US? It means their stranglehold on logistics is over. It means their sanctions lose their teeth. It means their corporations cannot demand monopoly profits. It means their military bases cannot intimidate nations who are no longer dependent. It means Africa is finally building infrastructure not for colonizers, but for Africans. Already, US farmers are panicking. The agricultural trade routes they controlled are slipping away. African markets that once depended on U.S. imports will soon feed themselves, trading faster and cheaper by rail. U.S. airlines, long profiting from expensive and indirect routes across Africa, are in despair because soon Africans will travel by rail without them. U.S. corporations, once profiting from logistical bottlenecks, are watching their grip collapse. And U.S. diplomats are enraged because they know influence is not just about speeches, it is about infrastructure. Whoever builds the roads, the ports, the railways, that is who owns the future. And today it is not America, it is Africa with its allies. But brothers and sisters, let us not see this as just an African victory. It is a global shift. Latin America is watching. Asia is watching. The oppressed of the world are watching. When they see Burkina Faso building a train faster than planes, they see a signal. The empire can be defied. The empire is not invincible. The empire can fall. Let me be clear. This is why the train is more powerful than any weapon. Because while a gun may kill a man, a train faster than a plane kills an empire. While a bomb may destroy a city, a train faster than a plane destroys dependency. While soldiers may occupy land, a train faster than a plane occupies the future. And that is why this 50 billion project is not just about Burkina Faso, it is about the liberation of Africa itself. Now we come to the conclusion. The West is in shock, the US is in fury, but Africa is in motion. History is not waiting for permission. Burkina Faso has laid down the tracks of destiny, and the train has already left the station. The empire may shout, may threaten, may panic, but it cannot stop the whistle of sovereignty blowing across Africa. And so I tell you this, the future will not be decided in Washington. It will not be dictated in Brussels. It will not be signed in Paris. It will be built in Ouagadougou, in Bamako, in Accra, in Lagos. It will be carried by trains faster than planes, by visions stronger than chains, by a people who have decided they will never again be passengers in someone else's story. This is the end of U.S. dominance in Africa. This is the rise of African independence. This is the age of movement, of connection, of freedom. The train is here, the future is here, and the empire is finished. Brothers and sisters, let the world hear it. Africa is moving faster than planes, faster than the lies of empire, faster than the chains of dependency, and nothing can stop us now.